Okay, so should we get back to this Samool post?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Samool comes out with a post, and it's titled "On Things Current," which sounded like a. It didn't sound like an official sort of title. It sounded very, very. What do you call it? Casual, I suppose. On Things Current, and I suppose that it's the intention of this post is to sort of update us with what is going on in the background of, Wurm Online. I, I don't know. What did you think about this post? Like your general feeling about it.
There's a bunch of feelings that I had. One
Okay.
was that posts went down for a while. There was some initial
What do you mean?
posts after the server release, like interaction or official posts from the devs, not just random posts that they put in other people's threads, but or other people's topics. But the Valorant International used to be once every 2 weeks, and I think we had one in 2 months. It was just like we knew stuff was happening. We knew that they said, okay, based on the 3 or 4 days of just incredibly crappy launch period of just the lag and that sort of thing, and them having to fix that, they said almost instantly, we're gonna reward you with sleep bonus. And 2 months later, I think people were wondering, when is that sleep bonus coming? Right. And like there was no official word on it. There was no a date when it was going to arrive. There was nothing. And there was just more stuff like that. Like the UI wasn't fully completed. We all, or the people that were here knew that, and the new players, there was no announcement or anything about what was complete or what was incomplete in the UI. So new players came in and actually thought that's how our fight window worked.
Right. We encountered
There was
that a few
no-
times when we were discussing it. There were people who were like, "Wow!"
It was to the
they
point
added
where
a whole
I
bunch
didn't
of
know.
special-
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah.
there was something missing from the fight window for it because there was nothing
It's
written,
not only
right?
that. It's not only that. It's that when they added the extra features on the fight window, people thought like, "Wow, they're adding new features already. Like they're adding these special moves. Like maybe this is going to be something to change the way combat works." And the reality is that all they were doing was bringing back the functionality that was lost when they created the new UI.
Right. And so
Trying to figure out your move.
yeah. Man. Okay. So then really we finally hear something. So we're finally hearing something from them, something official. And we also knew more things. We knew the roadmap was coming. That was announced.
Yep, that was announced
over a month ago.
a while ago.
And there was this like stuff that they kept teasing in more unofficial senses. So then an unofficial post comes out and you're kind of looking for at least a little bit of substance, right? Because we all knew unofficially just the sort of things that they did. So we knew officially the things that they already did, right? The fight window was fixed already. There was a few other things that they did. We know kind of unofficially what they are doing in the short term, right? They talked about the UI and how they are going to keep going. We don't know to the extent that they're going to do it, but we knew that there was some UI things that still weren't ready at launch and that they were looking to do that. And it was sort of like a post. So the sense, and thank you so much for the follow, Taiki Vetre. And in the end, I think the reason why, like, the reaction to the post was not the most flattering, right? It wasn't, this is, thank you so much for keeping us updated. And the reason was because we finally get this post and it kind of reiterates what we knew in a more official capacity. but
Right.
doesn't give us any more substance. It doesn't. Is it my turn?
And am I willing to be your
No,
sensei?
it was your turn.
No. I moved my knight.
Oh, you moved that? Okay, never mind. So,
Listen, I have my move ready to go the moment that you finish your move, so be
oh
prepared.
Christ. All right, give me a second here. So basically what happened was, I mean, an example is this, right? So they said we were going to get sleep bonus
Yeah.
almost days after the release, and we still don't know
Yeah.
when. So this post
Yeah.
said, okay, guys, we haven't forgotten that we still owe you sleep bonus. But they
Yeah.
never said,
But we still aren't going to tell you when you're going to get it.
yeah, we still don't know when. That was like the answer. Thank you for the host, Jack.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
And
so
that was the sort of I think that's why people were kind of iffy about that.
and Griffo, I don't know if I have the skill set to be anyone's sensei. So I'm going to say no. But yeah, I kind of felt the exact same way about the sleep bonus thing. I felt like if they're going to put something in this post about sleep bonus, it should have been the plan for when things are going to happen with the sleep bonus. You know, like even if it was the sleep bonus is coming next week. We're going to give you an advance warning. Like they did say, we're going to give you an advance warning of like a few days in advance so that you can use, I guess you can use up all your sleep bonus before. But like they something that's in play. Like I don't think that it's something that they really needed to think a lot about, right? They don't need to make sure that the date is the right date or anything. Like it really doesn't matter when the date is. They just have to pick a date and just say like next Wednesday or the Wednesday after that. They just pick a random date in the future and just call it that day that they're going to award sleep bonus and just let us know. I just found it
doesn't
was
have to
weird
be a
that,
day either. It just has to be a time frame.
like a time frame. Exactly. Like I don't, it made
Next
no
week.
sense to me that all they did was reiterate exactly what we already knew was happening. And they still are as vague about it as they were the first time they did it. But yeah.
Yeah, and Donut, so there are things that I guess I have more insight in. I mean, we've been around for so long, so we understand why some things take a long time for the dev teams to do. There are other things that just like it just comes down to the I don't know. They're just not thinking about it. It's not their priority. You know, it's they revisit it
Griffo,
later.
You're right. We're using the sleep bonus right now as like the example, but you are absolutely correct. The entire post was like this. You know, like I felt like after reading that whole post, I felt like I already knew everything that was in that post before the post was happened, and B, nothing got clarified from what we already knew. You know, like it was just
It was sort of like a, don't worry, I know it's been a long time, guys, but we're still here. And we're still going to, we haven't forgotten about these things. It was that kind of post. I think that's how they wanted it to be interpreted. And what people were waiting for was probably a lot of people were waiting for the roadmap, and they got confused and said, is this the roadmap? This is not
a lot
what
of people felt like this was the roadmap.
Yeah, and like if this is it, you know.
Wurm
is ended. Lots of Wurm is ended posts.
Oh, and when I said Serene, Siri thought I was talking to her. Let me put that on silent.
Oh yeah, you decided to stand on that side. So yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, thank you so much.
Now I don't know if you got a chance to look at Dark Lord's PvP discussion that was linked in that. Like, you know, most of us who are PvE players probably didn't click the PvP discussion link, but I decided to just peek at it and just read to see, like, maybe
I haven't.
Is the Dark Lord's post just as vague as the Samool post? And it actually I actually was like surprisingly shocked to see that Dark Lords had a really good format for that post. Like, it was more along the lines of, here's a whole bunch of features that we were planning on doing and looking at. We want to look at these things to balance PvP. We know PvP has its issues. These are the main issues, and he laid them all out. And he said, please feel free to comment and give feedback on what you feel about each of these features, right? Because like these are the features that we're planning to look at, and it was laid out really nicely. Like there was like a lot of features listed, and a good explanation about what they kind of want to change about it. Not exactly specifics, but like maybe just explaining what was wrong with the features or where their view is. I mean, I wish that there was something like that for PvE, right? Like these are the main issues that we want to look at. These are the things that we're kind of like feeling like are wrong with them or that need fixing. Can you guys give us your feedback on your experiences with these features? And just make a
and by the
massive list
way,
of them.
I went and you said you already had a move loaded and ready,
Oh, sorry,
and you did not go.
I missed that. I missed that you went. Sorry. So did you? Was it this? No, it wasn't this pawn. Where did you move? Oh, you moved your bishop.
I can't say anything. I don't know. You'll have to.
I see. You moved your bishop. Okay, let me see here. It's an interesting move. Okay. I'm gonna keep with the move that I was doing.
I see. I see. I see. I see. I see.
Now
All
let's actually go through each of the items on this post here. So the first segment of the post.
Do I?
After the. Wait, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he talk about the
Mm-hmm.
sleep bonus? The sleep bonus wasn't until much later, I think, in the post. The first thing that he does was he said, first off, below are some of the things that will be addressed with the next update, which will happen early next week. Okay, now my guess is that means Monday, but it could really mean anytime next week. And in that update, we're going to see the fix or potential fix for the uneven creature spawns, which has been a really big issue, especially for all the new players who don't know how creature spawns are supposed to feel, are probably like wondering, like, huh, is this step supposed to have nothing in it? How am I supposed? Like, I don't know. Like the hunting has been atrocious, and normally it's not this way. Normally, when you're going into a step, you usually find either a whole bunch of mobs or a whole bunch of corpses from somebody who's killed them all, and those mobs will repopulate within, like, I usually feel like within the 24-hour period or something like that. But as it is, like, there's nothing to hunt, and so our fight skills kind of got stuck because there's really nothing to level up on. So hopefully that's going to fix it. And then there's the bug where coffers on the new server kept being empty will be fixed. I'm surprised that they're calling that a bug. Honestly.
No, I don't know what you were going to do. But bam, we need to get our carts to load stuff
need to get
into.
Right. We should have our cart close by. Yeah. You're going to do it? Okay, because
I did take your piece. Oh, God.
Okay. Well,
that was not expected.
I'm going to take your piece. Did that hell horse just chase you?
It did.
I just
now,
saw it run.
It does not like me. Because I tried to move it off the chessboard. It really wanted to play chess, and I denied it. You can now remove both of those because I just took your... All right. I assume so.
Yeah, that's a surprising move. I wasn't expecting that. Let's see. What does that open up here?
Okay, so this is my piece. And this
Because
is
like
your piece.
it has on the very first day, I was like, okay, probably there won't be anything in the king's coffers. Um, I wonder at what point did the devs realize there was something wrong with that system? Because what's supposed to happen is that as coins get put into the upkeep, and those coins get, taken away from the, what do they call it? The village's upkeep, I guess. There's the upkeep fund, right? So you have money in your upkeep fund when you found your deed. I think it starts off with a minimum of 3 silver. And over time, that 3 silver is used up as you pay your upkeep. And when that money gets put out of the little upkeep fund that you have, it goes into, or at least a percentage of it should go into the king's coffers. And then that money is the pool of money where you can access, like as a player, any player can get a piece of that money back into your bank account simply by doing things like, for example, foraging and botanizing will occasionally give you a rare coin, and that comes from the king's coffers. You can take random items from and sell them at your token, and that should give you some iron, like some coins, and that comes from the king's coffers. They got rid of traders, so that used to be another place where you can get money from the king's coffers. Where else can you get money back from that? Besides foraging, botanizing, I think burying
I
corpses.
was not listening to what you were saying, but I agree.
The money coming out of the king's coffers, what are the possible ways of getting that? You can forage, botanize, killing things, burying corpses, selling things at your token. Killing, butchering, burying, right? Butchering, foraging, yeah. Am I missing something?
Do the traders still in the new area give coin? Can't remember if they got rid of that
traders,
too.
Traders
all
are
traders, even the new area. Okay.
Yeah. Praying. Interesting.
Praying
where does the coin
give iron.
But where does that iron come from? Does that iron?
Yeah. That may not come from the coffers, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was not broken.
Typical. Yeah, that was... okay. Praying comes from thin air. Yeah, right. That makes sense, because I've been getting coins from praying. And
yeah.
if the coffers are broken... Then...
It doesn't come from thin air. It comes from your god, right?
Right,
that's where it comes from.
Okay, you went, so let's see here. Huh.
Yeah, I screwed up his plan. Can you hear it in his voice?
No. Yeah, so you can get this money back, but what they're saying is that there's some bug preventing the king's coffers from getting coins in the first place, right? So that's just...
Well, we don't know what the bug is. I'm just hoping that the bug is not that the king's coffers has like overloaded, that it now hasn't kept track of how much is actually in it.
Now, I remember when they created this sort of... I'm trying to remember. Maybe not when they created this system of king's coffers, but at some point they loaded a whole bunch of money into the king's coffers manually. Like the game devs just said, okay, we're going to put X number of silvers into the king's coffers as a start. And I feel like that's what they should have done at the start of the servers. Now, I know that they also want to encourage people to buy silvers as well. But the reality is that the king's coffers is sort of a mechanism that allows free-to-play players and players who can't afford to buy silver a means to access money in the game that's through the game. And it encourages people to, engage in the economy. And maybe the devs felt like the economy at the start would be fueled simply by the massive amount of silver that was in the... Because there is a massive amount of silver in circulation already in the Northern Freedom Isles, and I honestly don't know. I really get the sense that this is something the devs were well aware of at the beginning, and were content to just sit back and let things evolve, without the King's Coffers having money in it. Like, that's really the sense I'm getting, because if it took 2 months plus 2+ months to even just look at this as an issue, and they kept silent on it. People were asking about it for so long, and like there was that whole segment at the end of the first month, people going, the King's Coffer is supposed to be empty until the end of the first month when all the upkeep is going to be collected. And then that event happened, all the upkeep got collected, and yet the coffers were still empty, and people were like, what is going on? Like, at that point, I feel like there should have been an announcement by the devs that says, we are aware of this issue, there's a bug that's preventing the King's Coffer, we're going to get on it. But instead, it's like silence for another month and a half. And now we're seeing that this bug is going to get fixed. Not really any details about what happened exactly. I don't know. It just seems odd to me that that's what happened. And then the final thing they're going to fix is another odd thing. You will be able to start new characters on Defiance straight from the tutorial portal.
So who knew that you couldn't
why
start
couldn't
directly on Defiance? I did not really realize that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Right, Wolfmare, that is true. Preloading the coffers would have probably just masked the problem. That's true. Depending on what the problem is, I'm not sure. Traders changed after the
we're all
Xanadu
guessing
opened.
at this
Okay.
point.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, traders changed, and I remember at that time they loaded money manually into the coffers. The changes to traders created the bug. Interesting. So why didn't that bug get revealed on the old servers then? Because that was 2015. So if the bug was created in 2015, how did coffers get filled up back then? Anyway, I don't know. Okay. Right, they didn't open any new. So it was basically specifically server openings. That. Whoops. I have to push it past the threshold there.
Okay, we've got is the chessboard south of Spintop Manor. Does anybody know where Spintop Manor is?
Oh,
One thing that I can tell you is that we are here.
It's the chessboard south of Spintop Manor.
9.
I see. The bug might have been created
or
when
here.
traders
I think
traders got
here,
changed to their current iteration.
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Which who was it saying was in January or February? Amethyst was saying. Who's winning? Willow, welcome. We are tied at the moment.
That's right. Tied.
Although my feeling is that position-wise, I'm in the lead, but Brian might disagree with that.
I don't know. Okay, so what do we have? Where do we live? You forgot we live in Canada. That's right.
Did you go?
I have not gone. I am still assessing the situation here.
Okay. I see. The disabled coffers at the start. Yeah, Griffo, that's the taste that we're feeling. Like, that's, Are you going all the way with that?
I am going to
Boy,
stop.
I've never played a player like you that does this sort of stuff.
And that's why I'm going to win.
This is not how you play chess.
You think I'm just going to track my characters? My pieces will not retreat.
Come on, chess player. Okay, there's got to be some chess players in this room. This is how you play chess, right?
What are you talking about? There's no correct way to play chess.
Right.
Unless you're probably a grandmaster, and then there probably is.
Okay, so they said themselves conference will be disabled at start. Then all of a sudden it's a bug. Yeah.
All right. Let me get
All right.
cart for
All
the
right,
two
get
pieces.
The cart. Yeah, for the 2 pieces. Yeah. Goodness. You know what? Actually, I'm backing out on that one. I'm gonna come back with
really?
that.
No.
You know how there's this rule where in chess, the moment you let go of your piece, that's played, right? So I think there's a good analogy that we can use here.
I didn't even need this.
How about the moment that you press the H button and center it on the tile? That's the equivalent of like removing your fingers from the piece.
So the moment you center the piece, you're saying, or else you could move it back. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you know how when you're playing chess, you can grab your piece, you can sort of like put it on the square that you want it on, but you keep your finger on it, and then you can take it back.
Yeah. Okay, but you can only move one piece. If you decide to move that piece back, you can't move the next piece. You can't just keep moving pieces.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go this way, this route here.
What, you're taking it, right?
I'm taking it. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
That'd be silly of me not to take it.
All right, then just push that to your side. Yeah.
It could. So Amethyst is suggesting maybe there's like an exploit that they didn't want to be revealed about the coffers. It's possible. It's possible.
And thank you so much for coming, Rosalind. I'm so happy that you came.
Yeah. And sat on my side. He says with a little.
Okay, let me see what we're doing here.
Mayor of Bald Knob. That's. Oh no, that's not what I was thinking of. There's a deed just over here called Bald something, but it's not Bald Knob. I don't know. I'll go with don't assume malice when it could be incompetence.
here's so I did read a bunch of comments on the post, and people were concerned about the game and its state, and we've heard it before. We've heard that the game is dead or the game is going under thousands of times at this point, and
thousands of times.
Like we don't have to worry about those posts. But one thing that people seem to be surprised about, which I'm not really sure why, is that they're surprised that the devs had to somehow regroup after the launch. Like, they were surprised that there was no long-term plan of releasing stuff. And the fact of the matter is we have a small dev team, and they were under the gun to just get to the release, right? They don't have like months and months of patches lined up that they're just gonna, chug out every month. They're working on it as they're going. And I mean, and just the fact that we got an incomplete UI at the release should have clued everybody in that has been playing the game for a while that they were trying to get the UI ready. They got so close to the date that they decided, okay, this is where we're going to stop. This is the final result of the UI as much as we can. And they just released everything that they had essentially at that time. And then from that point on, the bugs were discovered, lag and all that stuff. And they started doing the bug thing and they started fixing the game up that way. And so we got a month of that, a month and a bit. And that's where we are now. We're at the point now where they got through the most of the heavy bugs that were destroying the games for people that couldn't play at all. We got a few patches about exploits and that sort of thing, and now they're regrouping and they're trying to figure out what's the next step. What from the giant list of suggestions and stuff that they want to do should be the official roadmap and next step that the game will take. And that's just what they haven't announced. And that's where we are right now. And it should be no surprise to people that have played the game for a substantial period of time that this is the state that we're in. Don't expect them to have some sort of hidden long-term agenda that they've been hiding from us for months and months that they're just going to release on us. And I'll tell you this, Griffo, there's always a reason they do something, whether they tell us or not. If they mostly don't tell us, it was probably more likely an exploit that we don't have context into. And we might not agree with the way that they fix it, but there's a reason they do it. There'd be a reason they nerf it. There's a reason that they broke something. Yeah. And normally the reason they break something is because of the spaghetti code that they're dealing with. They fix one thing and then something not even related at all, they don't even notice that it changed based on the change that
every time that they nerf something, every time that they nerf something, my feeling is that it's because there's something that they're seeing that in the future, if they just let it go, would make the game completely imbalanced. And I normally have agreed with every nerf. And if I could just continue with this thought, my feeling is that over the years, the opposite has happened. Like, what's the opposite of nerfing something? Buffing something, right? Like, so over time, I think this game has gotten way more buffs than nerfs. And the incremental buffs over time have, in my opinion, caused it imbalance in the direction of too many buffs for some things. And once you get to that point, it's really hard to take it back, right? Like as a dev team, like if, for example, like we just saw this with the linking issue, right? Something got changed to allow linking of massive amount of players. Like you could take a whole bunch of priests and link them to one priest. And this became a mechanic that priests used to increase their channeling like at unprecedented rates. And then they changed it so that favor regens quicker, that each tick goes faster. When you sacrifice, each thing that you sacrifice gives you more favor. Like these incremental buffs over the years created it so that anybody could create a 90 channeling priest, 90 plus channeling priest really simply. Like it became not a hard thing. Like at one point, channeling was considered on the same level as weaponsmithing. I would probably put it on the same level as like, I don't know, like an easy skill right now, like on the easier side of things. Even after they did the nerf, right? Like the nerf that they did recently. And when they did that nerf, everyone was crying out like, why are you nerfing this? This is horrible. Like, don't nerf my priest links. But honestly, it's still like way easier than it used to be.